of the Empire State Building.
Hey, yo, what up? I'm Josh Martinez of Z100 New York's #1 hit music station with my guest, Omar Apollo. What's going on, man?
Omar here. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Chilling?
Yeah.
Just trying to live your best life?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Today's been a great day so far.
Now, what did you do today? What did you do today as we're talking about this, as we're talking right now? You were a little late, but that's fine. Traffic happens. It's cool.
I did a performance. I performed today, and then I did some interviews. I woke up, got ready, went straight there. But I was having like this whole week. I mean, I'm on tour, so I'm like 23 shows in. Oof. And I was like having like a congestion thing, and I was just like, I was just trying to drain everything before I had to sing. So
did you accomplish your goal?
Yes. Oh
Okay.
my God, it sounded amazing. I was like, that's what I wanted.
So 2 sold-out shows in Brooklyn over the weekend, basically. What's that feeling like to know that you're popping in New York City?
Crazy. It's honestly crazy. Like I don't. You were just talking about like being being played on the radio in your hometown. It's like that's crazy. But like actually everywhere else is like nuts.
So
New York.
Let's talk about that. You're from Hobart, Indiana, right? I ain't gonna lie. I don't know a goddamn thing about no Hobart, Indiana. So talk about it.
It's over by Gary.
Okay.
You heard of Gary?
Yeah.
It's about 30.
Haven't heard anything good about Gary, but I know Gary.
I was in the 90s. People live there now, but it was now it's cool. I mean, I went to college like 2 weeks there, and like, but yeah, I live right there, like Hobart, Gary, Lake Station, Maryville, Portage, all that stuff. 219, basically, like area code. They call it the region because it's like northern Indiana. So
we talked off air a little bit about 103.5 Kiss FM in Chicago. That's the station that you grew up basically listening to, and they play your station now. They play your song rather on that station. Do you remember the first time getting that text, getting that video, getting that call of like, yo, your hometown station in the 3rd biggest city on the planet is playing your song?
It was my brother. My brother
Okay.
like called me. He's like, yo, you're on the radio, and I knew that they were starting to put Evergreen on the radio, but I didn't know where. And just like that, it was my brother that did it. It was sick because he was just driving, on the way to work, and he was like, "Yo, like, you're on the radio," and I was just like, "Whoa!" I remember I showed all my friends. I was like, "Yo, it's on Kiss FM, like 103.5," and it's just insane. It's really crazy.
Do you remember the first time you heard it on the radio yourself?
I haven't.
Really?
Well, I did in San Francisco, but
Okay.
it was a situation like this.
Okay.
And then he's like, "I'm gonna play it," and I was like, "Well, it wasn't the same. I gotta be in the car, But yesterday my brother called me, or not? Oh, he sent a video of him in the car with my parents, and like they were just listening to the radio like nonchalantly, and then it came on, and then I was just like, "That's insane. That's crazy."
What's that family feeling been like for you?
Quick.
Over the last, Maritza played. Shout out to Maritza.
She doesn't play.
She's on it, boy. What's that been like for your family over the last 2 months? Like how quick you've kind of just popped off.
Yeah, I mean, like they've definitely have noticed. I mean, like that there's been a change because it was kind of there was this thing. It was like Omar tours and like makes music and does well. But I think they definitely did feel like they're getting congratulated everywhere they go. Like. The Grammy thing happened, and they're just like even more like yo, what's going on? Where are we going? And I was like, she's like, my mom was like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, I gotta figure out my outfit.
So you're nominated for a Grammy. You mentioned it. Where were you when you got that text, that call, that email? I need to hear about it.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta. I was doing a show.
Okay.
And my manager, he came in the morning. I was like, what time are they gonna announce it? He's like 12. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna sleep until 12 because I don't want to like wait. You know what I mean? He comes in and like wakes me up and like it's a whole thing. Brings everybody in, and I'm like, dog, like I'm not trying to do all this. Like, what if he comes in with a camera and crew and like I'm like, dude, what if I don't get it? Why are you recording everything? Like, no, we gotta get it. I was like, oh, I was so annoyed because I was just like, it was just adding more pressure. Like I was just like getting more nervous and getting more like. But it was great because it ended up like we ended up actually like
getting nominated.
Nomination, yeah.
So you mentioned like basically getting stressed out, right? And I like to talk about mental health a lot in my interviews. What do you do when you're feeling too low or too high even? Because sometimes you could be too high and think you're the shit, but you got to come crashing down. What do you do to kind of bring yourself back to that like even space?
Oh, that happened yesterday when I got off stage. I was like super like on. It's like this dopamine release. It was just stayed. It is high. I was like on. And once I got in the car, I realized I can't just like go from stage to car
Mm.
because it's like destructive. Like I was in the car losing my mind. I felt crazy. Like
Hmm.
I was like, this is terrible. And I realized that I have to like wind down. I have to like do things, be social, play a game, play spades or something. Like,
Hmm.
you know, throw on something, play music. Like I can't go into like a quiet environment because it'll like, it's really, I don't know. I feel things really deeply. So when there's that big change like that, it's just like it settles in and then it just really spirals. And then when I'm low or when I'm really anxious, I always have like L-theanine or like ashwagandha or something and like stuff like supplements that help because it's very often that happens.
I'm glad you brought up the when you're feeling too high that it messes with you, because I think a lot of people just think of the crashing, the lows, and then building yourself back up. But I don't think people realize like I can't imagine what it's like to know that, you know, hundreds and eventually thousands and then eventually tens of thousands of people spend their hard-earned money to see you. To see you sing, to see you perform. Like, so I can't imagine what it could be like when you're like, oh, I'm on top of the world, and now I'm in the back of a tour bus with nobody around.
Right. Yeah, no, I make sure people are around now. Oh, yo, y'all got to come with me. I'm going to lose my mind. No, it's a real thing. It's like one of the, like I have to play, like have a guitar by me or something, or like make music or do something to wind down. That's the word, like that you have to wind down. It's like some people can, like, you know, do that, but not me, man. I feel too much. I feel too crazy.
I find it interesting that a song like Evergreen started popping off and doing its thing, but the video wasn't there yet, and the video was just released about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
What's the video about? How much say did you have in that video? Let's talk about the video a little bit.
Yeah, man. I got to work with these directors, Rubber Band, and we were, well, you know, the song was doing well, and I was like, oh, we gotta do a video.
Of course.
So, I mean, I always have say. Come on now, like.
You'd be surprised, dog. You'd be surprised.
I pick everything, and so we reached out to a bunch of directors, but Rubber Band had the one that I thought was the one for sure. It was just like it made sense. They were super excited, and I like when people are really excited to do something, you know, like, and they really show it by like, you know, preparing and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was great to go with, and yeah, the treatment that I picked was like just made so much sense. It like kind of tied everything together and like really, I feel like amplify what the song was trying to say, in its own way, and like can be interpreted however you want, honestly. But yeah, there was no like, oh, like this is like what it's about. Like, nah, it's like that's just what it is, and people can kind of, you know, take it for.
How long was that shooting process? Because it looks like something that obviously you watch it and you go, oh, they could have done that in a few hours, but you know damn well it doesn't take a few hours.
Yeah.
So how long was that process?
12 hours.
Oh, that was way quicker than I thought.
Yeah, just one day.
Nice. What was the thought process behind writing that song? Was it a feeling? Was it just one night you're messing around on the notes and you just typing shit? What was the feeling behind Evergreen?
I went to Idlewild, like rented out a house to make music in, and I made another song that day called Endlessly, and then I made Evergreen. And Evergreen, like my friend Manny was making the chords and stuff, and it kind of wasn't coming together how I wanted. Like, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling any lyrics. I wasn't feeling inspired. I was like I don't know what to say. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, you know. 'Cause you have to say something, especially when you write. As a writer, you have to like write about different things. You can't just write the same song over and over again. So
it works for some artists. I ain't gonna say no names, but some
you're
people.
funny.
I get annoyed, dude. But go ahead.
But so basically, you know, I was like, oh wow, I got the story. You know what I'm saying? So well, no, I didn't have the story actually. I couldn't think of nothing, and my friend was like, yo, just drink a glass of wine, relax. You know what I'm saying? I have a glass of wine, and I write the whole thing without even writing it down. I just like said it, and it was just like what, like 30 minutes or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I've just like I tapped into like the flow, and it just came out.
Do you have a writing process? Are you the type that needs to do this regimented process, or are you a notes on the phone type of dude?
Notes on the phone, always. Yeah, no, I don't have a regimented process. It always changes. I mean, like
Mm.
I'll hear a word and then I would just like, oh, that would be fun to build off of, or stuff like that.
So you're bilingual. You
Hmm.
speak Spanish.
Yeah.
You speak way better than me, and I already know that. I'm 100% Puerto Rican, but I am the word. I'm a New Yorker, and the quote is, "It's all fun and games till you got to speak Spanish." You know what I'm talking about? Like the moment I got to speak Spanish, it's a wrap. I'm done. I'm gonna just sit there and pretend like I don't know Spanish because I make the mistake of going to like a Spanish restaurant and starting in Spanish, and then when the server keeps talking to me in Spanish, I just got to tap out. Like,
Oh, really?
those are the only words I know. The introductory stuff. When we got to get into the deep end, I'm drowning, dog. I'm drowning.
Damn. No, my parents are from Mexico, and like, I didn't learn English until I went to school.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like I went to school. They had put me in classes to like really learn English. I mean, I had like peers and stuff, but mostly it was just Spanish.
Do you plan on doing a Spanish only album down the road? Is that something that you're interested in, or are you just kind of taking it as it comes with the inspiration that you have?
I haven't really thought about it.
Okay.
I kind of like feel like my life is kind of bilingual, so that's how my music is gonna be. But
There really aren't, now off the top of my head, there's no like bilingual artist that kind of intertwined the Spanish with the English. So there was a huge
Caliucci's
True, she does. That's a good one. I didn't think
my
of that.
sister, man.
That's a
She had
good
the
one.
biggest song in 2020, man.
She
I'm
did.
fucking with
That's a
her.
good point. That's a good point. But there's
No, but I
not,
feel you though. There's not much.
but at least not.
She's carrying us.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the male side at least. There's
Yeah,
not
no,
many
for
that I could
sure.
think of. A lot of times, if you want Spanish,
Bad Bunny said, "Un VIP, un VIP."
he's trying. He tried with his WWE promos too.
Selfie, say cheese.
I
love him.
That song is amazing, by the way. That's like, again, the only Spanish I know is like that Bad Bunny lyrics,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Aventura
Bad Bunny.
lyrics, and then that's it. I'm done. It's over for
Yeah,
me.
Definitely.
Who do you listen to for inspiration if you get stuck? Do you go to an artist, or do you kind of get away from music altogether?
Both. I mean,
Okay.
like, sometimes if I need lyrics, I'll listen to like Joni or Bob Dylan, honestly.
Mm.
But if I just want to get inspired, like with tones and like get like something going, I'll probably listen to like Brian Eno or something.
Mm. Who would you say inspired you from a young age from an artist standpoint? Because I mean, you mentioned having parents from Mexico that came here, so you're first generation. So I would assume that your inspiration's pretty eclectic and wide range.
Yeah, for sure. My mom showed me like romantic songs from the 50s, like Pedro Infantes and Estela Núñez, and bunch of Juan Gabriel, all that stuff. That's more like 90s. But
Yeah.
yeah. Then my dad put me onto the Beatles, but also put me onto like he was showing me this guy. I forgot his name. Like when I was home for Thanksgiving, but just other artists in Mexico. And then in school, I was really into like soul and R&B. Like that was really like what I loved growing up. So anybody who could sing and make me feel something, I was listening to, like Lauryn Hill, obviously, things like that.
I always say that Latinos are the most prideful people on the planet. Like my second day at the radio station, I brought in a Puerto Rican flag. So I was like, these people are going to know that I'm Puerto Rican and we here. And then I realized there's other people, so I should probably buy flags for them too. How prideful are your parents on a daily basis? Or are they the type that they'll give you a little bit of love, but they don't want to give you too much because they don't want it to get to your head? You come home, you're going to take out the garbage and do errands.
Nah, they don't make me do that. Come on. They know, like, I mean, even just like being the baby of the family, like they gonna tell my older brothers because I'm the baby. Like I get the baby treatment, but
Same.
Nah, they don't really. I mean, like I don't think like if my mom was like, "Yo, go to the store, pick up something," I'd just go pick up something at the store. But like, it's not. Yeah, I mean, nah, I'm not. They're not making me cut the grass or anything. Not no more. Oh my God, my dad told me this story when I was a kid. We were digging up this pipe because he had to fix this pipe in the house because the water was fucked up. Oh yeah, fucked up, whatever. And I was a little kid, and I probably was like 11 or something, and I was helping him dig, and I quietly like put the shovel down, and then I was like, hey, I'm not gonna do this anymore. And then he's like, why? I said, because I'm a kid. I'm going to go inside. And he said, okay, yeah, go inside. You're a kid. Like, I was just like.
Sound logic.
I know. I was trying to get an understanding with him. But it was just funny that he told me that, like, just recently.
And you know what? It doesn't hurt that you could sit there and be like, yo, I got a song that has over 100 million streams now, so I'm not going to the Panaderia because I don't want to, damn it. Congratulations, 100 million streams. That's
crazy. Just today, which
Yep.
is nuts. I was like, whoa.
And you also were recently at a McDonald's, pulled up to a McDonald's and hung out at Mickey D's. Did you work there?
I used to work at McDonald's for a year and a half. They held me down. They held me down bad. I mean, like, honestly, yes, that's the money I used to save up to buy my first laptop and make music. I mean, as they should be paying me. Come on now.
I feel like everyone's first job was McDonald's, me included, when I was 14 on Staten Island.
Yeah. You already know.
Yeah.
You know the vibe.
So I got to show love to David, who escorted you guys up here. He's behind the camera. So much love to David. He came up with this really smart question. A lot of artists are getting McDonald's meals or fast food meals. And since you have a connection to McDonald's, what would the Omar Apollo meal be at Mickey D's?
Easy. This is what I used to make in the back all the time. It's a bacon McDouble sub artisan roll. They got to bring the artisan roll back. They don't got it right now. But and then add mac sauce. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And off air, I said that whatever I do would have to have mac sauce because I'm addicted to mac sauce.
Yeah.
The fact that they don't like have sides and cups of mac sauce, I think McDonald's is missing the boat on making more money.
They
to
do
be honest,
overseas, I think. We could ask for a little cup, I think.
You could, but you have to ask for it. I'm talking about like sweet and sour, whatever.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
like get it pre-made, dog. Like let's hook it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got to keep some things. They got to gatekeep some things, you know.
So I know from my experience with McDonald's, I remember the most ridiculous order I've ever got. Do you remember the most ridiculous order you ever got?
McGangbang, man.
Ah, popular. Yes. Yes.
And then I would do the apple pie inside of the McFlurry.
That is way too much. I've never thought of that before, and that sounds delicious.
Yeah, ask them, like, yo, put the pie in the
Well,
McFlurry.
first off, we need the McFlurry machine to fucking work.
Dude, mine always worked. My shit worked all the time.
Which McDonald's was this so we could plug it?
On 61st, Maryville, Indiana. In Maryville, Indiana, on 61st.
We're going to pull up, and then if it doesn't work, we're going to blame you. That's what we're going to do.
You can blame me.
So for me, somebody once asked for a Big Mac with nothing. They just wanted the patties in the box. Nothing. They don't want bread. They don't want...
people do that all the time.
Just beef in a box.
Yeah, a lot. People do that a lot. They got gluten problems? Come on, man.
This is like when I was 14. This is way before gluten was a real thing. Gluten, I'm not going to say it's fictional. However, I will say that, I think gluten is kind of magnified a little more than it probably should be. So this is
I took a blood test.
Me too, and they told me I had a gluten allergy. All that tells me is that if I eat pasta, I feel like I'm 7 months pregnant. That's the only difference.
No. Okay, well, for a singer... It's very different because you get acid reflux and you wake up in the morning, you're irritated and and it hurts, and it's like, oh, well, I can't eat gluten on show days. Now I know that.
Well, see, you got to just walk around like I do and keep the Tums on deck.
I need the Tums.
I got the Tums on deck, dog.
I don't have Tums on deck like that. You're right. You're putting me on.
They sell the little ones, put in your pocket at all times. You got it. Before we let you go, how can fans stay in touch with you on social media?
Shit, man. Go on Omar Apollo, TikTok, YouTube. Spotify, Instagram, Omar Apollo.
Easy to remember. One more time, Omar Apollo. We
Omar
appreciate you.
Apollo. Omar Apollo Velasco Prieto Izquierda Lizarde Limon. That's my full name, but Omar Apollo just that.
I got lemon out of that. That's all.
Limon.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
C100.